Welcome into Judd's Hockey Show. There will be a Game 6. I'm Zolgad. He's Declan. And before we start to assemble a roster here of people who would like to chime in on what we just saw, the Cam Talbot game, Declan, I will be opening my I've got the Summit tonight. I need one of these because that was an incredibly stressful night. Mm-hmm. I think this is the second greatest upset that I've seen in hockey history, only behind the U.S. 1980 Olympic team beating the Russians.
That is a take.
I am kidding to a certain degree, but my God, that second period in Cam Talbot was Jim Craig tonight.
Yes.
Cam Talbot stood on his head. The Wild had flat out no business winning that game with how they played in the second period. But they did. They escaped, and there will be a Game 6 that I'm sure we're going to start time pretty soon. My guess is it's going to be an 8:45 puck drop on Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. But where do you start? First period was, I thought, again, the Wild came out and played their best period of hockey since game 3, first period of game 3, excuse me. Then they played 5 periods that at the X I thought weren't great. And then tonight they came out in the first period and I thought they had jump and they were fantastic and they were pinching the defenseman in and their forecheck was effective. And I thought to myself, they're back on track. They scored 3 goals, and guess what? They weren't all pretty. The Kaprizov goal was, but I mean, the Parise goal went in off Fleury's behind, basically, but they worked hard to get those goals. The Greenway goal is the type of goal he should always score. I love that goal. That's Jordan. That's Jordan at Jordan's best. The second period is one of the ugliest periods of hockey that I've ever seen. Outshot 22-1, Declan.
That was unacceptable. That was the most disgusting thing. I my high school didn't have a hockey team, but I got to watch some bad hockey sometimes in the St. Paul area, and that was like when St. Paul Como had to play Hill Murray like in a section game, and it was just 9-0 after the first period. It was just horrible. That was the worst display of hockey I think I have ever seen from a professional hockey team.
And my question becomes, like, I know that the Golden Knights came out with a jump, but my question goes back to the question that I've basically started to ask you after Game 3. Mm-hmm. How does this happen? How do you get dominated that bad? There's no excuse. I mean, you are a professional team. And by the way, the third period was better, okay? Like, I accept the fact that there's a lot of periods the Golden Knights are going to be the better team, but they dominated you. They basically played keep away. You're right. It looked like an early round section high school game. That's exactly what it looked like. The only difference is in those, the Golden Knights type team ordinarily scores like 8 goals. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. Talbot was, as Ezekiel just commented on, Talbot was fantastic. He was great. But look, the first and third periods, the first period especially, the Minnesota Wild's not that bad. Like, the second period was absolutely awful. So I'm glad that they won. I'm glad Kaprizov scored. I'm glad Parise scored. I felt good for Zach. That's great for Zach. The Greenway goal, again, goes back to the type of thing that we've always talked about, which is those are the type of goals that he should score. But yeah, this will be heretofore known as the Cam Talbot game because this was all about Talbot and the save that he made in, I think it was about 5 minutes left in the third period on Riley Smith was just a great save. There were about 4 goals tonight that the previous starting goaltender for the Wild would have given up.
Alex Stalock?
No, I'm not talking about poor Alex.
Eli Brzgalov?
I'm not talking about him either. But I'm just saying there were some Dubnyk doozies tonight that Talbot made saves on. But I hope they buy him. I hope they buy him a really nice bottle of booze or something because he saved their bacon.
Yeah, that was the Jim Craig game. I think that was basically the best way you said it. I mean, that was the second period. I put out the shot chart, that heat map. How you walk away. And by the way, Minnesota sports fans, Minnesota Wild and all the other encompassing ones, we're on the other end of this. We're usually on the other end of this. It's us that are dominating that heat map, and somehow the other team walks away with a victory. So a big-time win. An absolutely big-time win. I
don't know what to make of it, but it's a big time.
It's a big-time win, and that's what I'm going with. I don't really know what to make of it either. The first period was excellent. Oh, my gosh. You came out again. You know, what is this, Judd? 3 out of 5? 2 or 3 out of 5 games where you've looked pretty dang strong in the first 10, 15 minutes of the first period.
Yep.
And in general, the second period has been the Wild's bugaboo. And now tonight was, like we said, the worst display I think I've ever seen from a professional hockey team over a course of 20-minute time. But second period in general has been their problem, and they've been typically a good third period team. Now, the Wild didn't play, I think, poorly in the third period, but if you're going to play like that in the third period, odds are you're probably going to end up losing the game. So, yes, you'll have to rebound. You got a big-time goal from Kaprizov tonight. The Zach Parise stands are probably jumping for joy, and I guess good for you. Again, I don't care. The Wild got to win. That's all I care about. Zach Parise's goal is meaningless to me. It's about one of these rocks in this tequila that'll be melted here in the next 20 minutes. But
he made a fine play. He beat a red-hot goaltender through the old trick of bank it off his ass, which is smart. That's great. But, yeah, this is a game where – so the third period looked good relative to the second, but compared to the first, it's not.
Correct.
Here's what confuses me. It's almost like the Wild. So the Wild comes out and plays well, and the Golden Knights, are caught off guard. I don't know what, but anyway, what confuses me about this whole thing, Dex, is this one. As soon as the Golden Knights start to take it to them in the second period, it's like the Wild is caught on their heels and they start watching the game. And again, they're not that bad. Like that period, that's not well, Judd, come on, the Golden Knights are better. Yeah, they're better, but they're not that much better. I mean, you belong on the ice with them. Clearly, you're a playoff team. So I guess I'm just very confused about why the Wild gets outside of their game so badly. And some of that's coaching too, because like the adjustments are nil. At some point in time there, Dean was like yelling at them to go north south. I think is
sure.
What Ryan Carter said on Bally Sports.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
I'm sorry. I mean, that was completely mind-boggling how that was that bad. And this again, so 2 wins, series now still in the Golden Knights' favor, 3-2, Declan. But this again now is 2 wins that you can bank on one guy, the goaltender.
Talbot,
and Fleury's been great too for previous to tonight for them. So I mean, this comes down to Bill Guerin's decision to sign Talbot paying off. It really does, because if Dubnyk's in goal or Stalock's in goal, that final score is probably 7-3. I mean, it's that simple. Right. So Bill Guerin, nice work. You basically identified the fact that if you were going to upset a team or at least win some games, your goaltending had to be that good. And I know he made a couple of mistakes tonight, but special shout out to my guy, Nico Sturm. Nico Sturm was on the ice for the Kaprizov goal. Rask had gone off. And by the way, Rask had a great game tonight as sort of like a fourth line guy. Like he made some play, like he made some defensive plays.
Right.
He has no business playing with the 2 guys he's playing with. Well, no, he doesn't. I mean, it was crystal clear again. But he did make some nice defensive plays, and he is certainly not a mess when it comes to. I shouldn't say this. Most of the time, I'm not going to swear. He's just. I'm trying to think of, because I don't want to give him too much credit. He can make some defensive plays. Like he made some bad plays too. But anyway,
because he doesn't have to move if he's making defensive. If he just has to sit there and then put his stick in the right.
Well, area. And he got I mean, he made some plays that were questionable too. But anyway. Sturm had a really, I thought, nice game for the most part. And I mean, again, that speed makes a difference. That speed changes that. And that's the thing that I didn't get in the second period. Like the Wild just sort of allowed Vegas to dictate that the speed was all them. Like, how do you do that? The first period they didn't. The first period they didn't. They turned the tables a little bit. Like, you've got to slow them down. And I'm not saying illegally, but you've got to. Why don't you, Declan Goff, tell the folks if they would like to assemble in our green room, how they can do so to come on and talk to us.
So we already have pretty close to a full room already. We got a bunch of Wild fans who are queued up here. We are your only home for Wild post-game shows where we bring you on the screen with us. Thank you for joining us. We're packing up a nice little live room here, maybe setting a new record for a Wild post-game show. So if this is the first time you have described us, this is Judd Zolgad. I'm Declan Goff. We are from Score North. If you'd like to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, we greatly appreciate it. We'll have some Wild talk. We'll have Twins talk, Timberwolves talk, secondary Vikings talk, and also we're live on Purple Daily as well, where you have Minnesota Vikings content 7 days a week. But yes, if you'd like to get in on this show, you have wild vents you'd want to get in after, shoot me an email, vikingsventline@gmail.com, and I will cue you up on the screen. It's 12:25 Central Time right now. If you're in Vegas, it's only 10:20, or no, is Vegas 2 hours behind us?
Yeah.
2 hours behind us? All right, so if you're in Vegas and you want to get on the show and you want to talk Vegas, we don't think we've welcomed a Vegas fan yet. Shoot me an email. This is a safe space, by the way. This is not a space where we crap on you or your takes. This is a space where we like to encourage your takes. That's what we do here at Score North. We embrace you, the fan. So if you want to get in, shoot me an email, vikingsventline@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Who should we go to first?
Let's kick it off. You know what? Let's go with Matthew. Matthew, what's up, buddy? Keep it clean this time.
Yes, I was about to say, I will make sure I stay clean.
He didn't mean to swear.
I felt so terrible. I texted Declan afterwards. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get you guys demonetized or something by swearing right away. But
oh, you're a good man.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just don't do it again.
Definitely a lot happier after this game, I'll be honest. I still feel like Dumba is kind of shooting the team in the foot a little bit with some of his defensive work, but I mean, nothing too much to complain about. I almost fell asleep in the second after.
Wait, you're not going to complain about the second period, though, Matthew? The second period was they had one shot on goal.
Yeah, that was bad. I almost decided to go to bed. I was like, I don't know if I want to sit up for this and watch them lose it in the third after they don't come back. But I don't know. I felt like it was good first and third. I think one of the big differences in the third was they finally started pushing against the defenseman and making it difficult for the defenseman to make plays. They didn't just sit there and wave their stick in front of them 4 or 5 feet away. They actually gave them some pressure, made them make decisions.
So explain that to me. Why do they allow that for an entire period? Like it's not.
I wouldn't. I mean,
this is game 5, right? Game 5, right?
Yep.
Okay, you're aware of what they do. Like the Golden Knights strategy is not, I did not see that coming. I mean, that's a game 1 thing. That's my question is how do you allow that to take place? And that's coaching too.
Yeah.
Like you're right. The pushback in the third was very acceptable.
I think the play that made the difference, at least when I was watching on my screen, was like, I might have been at the start of the third or midway through, and it was when the game had finally switched back into the Wild. We're starting to really push back on Vegas again. Was Kaprizov is standing, and I think it was Pietrangelo on the opposite side of the net, and he's standing behind there. And Kaprizov gives him a wave or two, and then decides to chase him around the back of the net. And Pietrangelo turns it over coming out of the zone, and they hold possession in the zone. It's like, why don't you just do that more? Even going through the neutral zone, because a lot of their good play comes from moving straight up through the neutral zone by building up that speed.
Correct.
From the arcing players. If you can stop it at the defenseman, or at least make that defenseman have to make that decision sooner, you can cut that play off before they get their rush. I think that's where the Wild, if they're going to win game 6, it's going to be stopping Vegas from getting that opportunity in the middle.
Matthew, that's an awesome point. You're exactly right. And I would just like to see a continuity in them doing exactly that. Because they actually did push them during the course of the season when they had success against the Golden Knights. They actually did that, and they got in on the forecheck. And what they did in the first period tonight was indicative of what they did during the season against the Golden Knights. And then in the second period, to what you're saying, they got away from that. They didn't do it. They sort of hung back. And then the most frustrating thing is they start watching. They're literally watching. And it's like, you can't, if you're going to stand still, these guys are going to kill you.
You can't give Vegas time and space. They're too big and too quick. They're going to burn you.
And that's what they don't give you, right? That's the whole thing. Yeah. They don't give you time and space, so you got to go take it back from them, which I get is difficult, but it's your only prayer. So great stuff, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Good stuff, brother. Yeah, if they could skate a little bit more, and if you could have some offensive skill, you can go toe-to-toe with them, maybe, I don't know, you play Matthew Boldy, for God's sake. I still think there's a case to play him. There's an 100% place to play him. I don't understand why you're not. I have zero idea why you're not playing him, Judd. Blows my mind. Alex Tuck, once again, a beast My
Declan,
God,
I
we
agree.
gave him away. We gave him away just so they wouldn't take Matt Dumba or even Brody. And I forget who the exact person it was. It doesn't matter. He only had 6 games here, and he's an absolute stud for them. He's an absolute stud.
He's a phenomenal talent.
And you will hope, you just got to cross your fingers that maybe Matthew Boldy just, develops into a same or similar productive type of player. I don't know if it'll be similar styles. I honestly think Alex Tuck, when he is fully healthy, because he has battled some injuries this last few years, his size, his speed, his skill, he is not a generationally great player, but a one-of-a-kind special kind of. How is a guy that big move that fast and shoot that hard? Like he's a marvel to watch. He's an absolute marvel to watch.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a lot of fun. He's fun, but I'm just very confused at what happened in this game. I'm glad that they won. It's going to be fun to have a game 6, but here's what gets me. Like, I still feel that they could be very competitive and potentially upset the Golden Knights. Now, I did predict that the Golden Knights would win in 6, but you've got to have more of a full plan for the entire game. Like, the second period can't happen again. And it feels like that period, to a certain degree, happened for sure in game 3. It happened in game 4, and it happened in game 5. I mean, that's a recipe. You are essentially going to Cam Talbot and saying, save our asses. Which he can do occasionally. But, I mean, it's not a realistic option against a team with this much talent for that to be always the default of, well, the goaltender will save us. He can only do so much. So
let's we'll keep rolling here. Let's bring on Harrison. Harrison, what's up, dude? You're on Wild Vent Line.
Hi, what's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Do you guys like the lineup that Dean put together tonight?
So I Judd and I did a preview episode, and in general, when they moved Rask up to the Kaprizov spot, I know Judd had a meltdown on it. I didn't agree with it either. But I will say tonight, and especially in the first period, which is something Dean hasn't done before, is he put Sturm up there, and I thought that was, for the first time in an in-game adjustment that he was able to make, that was pretty big time. Kalen Addison, too, coming in. I know he was playing more by default because Susie was injured. I thought had a nice game as well. The lineup is kind of the only guy we're asking for here is Matthew Boldy, but at the same time, I thought in-game adjustments, for the most part, Judd, Dean did a better job than he had. Still not perfect, but a better job than he had in previous games.
Yeah, I guess I hated the fact that the team got to take it to them in the second period, and they didn't really adjust against that. Like, at some point in time, you've got to do something. You had one shot on goal. But yeah, the lineup was the lineup. There are different things that I would do, but I guess Harrison, at this point, it's just crystal clear they're not going to. Like, they're not going to change this thing. So we could call for Boldy, or we could say that Sturm should be with Kaprizov to give him a little bit more skating ability and firepower. I did love the fact that Kaprizov came out tonight and showed you what he's capable of doing, even when he's being checked tightly. Like, this is why I wrote that he was disappointing me. What we got tonight, because there were a lot of situations tonight where I noticed him on the ice, and I can't say that for the last 2 games. So I do like the fact that he clearly applied himself, because he's that good. Like, he might not score a ton of goals, I don't know, but he disappeared way too much in games 3 and 4. In game 5, I felt like you saw him quite a bit.
And then one more question. For his age and speed, I felt like Parise made himself noticeable.
Yeah, man, I thought he had a better game tonight for sure. He definitely put himself in front of the net, and if he could put himself there and score the Parise goals, I guess okay. I can definitely live with that. It was a big time goal, and I'm sure it was an emotional one for him. But if he can play like that and put himself in a good position, I'm all right with it. But in general, you definitely don't want him to be playing in a track meet type of game. And Vegas, you saw it in that second period. If the ice tilts one way, he can be a liability, and he kind of had a rough go of it there in the second period.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. Have a good
Hey,
night.
Harrison, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you coming on. A young Wild fan there. I love that. Gotta love a good younger Wild fan.
Well, you know what?
We're welcome in the
as you said,
moment.
safe place. Safe place.
It's a safe. It's a safe space. It's what this is. It's Wild Vent Line. We're here for you. Even when Zach Parise scores a big time goal, and see you guys, see Judd Zulgad and Declan Goff, No. He scored a big time goal. I was all for it. So good
That was
for him.
good. No,
Good for
he
him.
just no. But here's the thing with Zach. I feel like when we question guys or agree with moves that fans don't like, that they think we hate the player. There's never been a question ever. There's never been one day where I've questioned how hard Zach will work.
Yep.
He's going to work his ass off. He always does. But I mean, there were numerous examples in that game where the speed decision was very clear why he didn't play. Can't keep up with it.
Yep.
Like, and yes, it was a veteran savvy move to throw the puck off Fleury's ass into the goal. Love that. Bounced right off him. Great play. But for that, I mean, how many times did you see the play just sort of pass him by? And the first goal that they gave up in game 4 was on him. Wall walked right by him. I mean, he didn't really know what to do, and he was flat skated at the time. So this is not I don't hate Zach, and I think Zach works very hard, and Zach will always work hard. This is not he's being a prima donna. I mean, this is just the fact that the style that he plays was going to catch up to him eventually speed-wise, and it has now. Doesn't mean he can't score some goals, but we're talking about a high-speed playoff series.
Totally.
I mean, can you imagine him against the Abs?
Ooh, no, I cannot.
I mean, yeah, he'll be in his zone, and the whole play will be in a different zone. So
yeah, totally. Let's keep rolling here on Wild Vent Line. By the way, we have a good amount of people in the room and people watching us as well. If you do want to get some vents in, I know Judd and I have a late night here, but at the same time, we'll kind of let you guys dictate on how many people want to come in this room. So if you want to get in on the show, shoot me an email, vikingsventline@gmail.com. And if you can, hit that subscribe button as well. We had some record numbers on our Score North YouTube channel the last few months, and we want to keep going at that. So if you are new to us, thank you for supporting us. If you're still here for us for other calls, also thank you for coming back to us. Let's go to Max. Max, what's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, good to see the Isles win tonight. I know that's your team.
Absolutely. That's my team, man. That's my backup team, so I love
that. That was
that.
kind of a fluky goal. No
dude.
Yari, but, you got to capitalize on those. So
how fun is that series?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Crazy series.
Oh,
crazy series.
Great.
I was wondering if I could just rant off a couple points and then go to my question and let you guys go off of that.
Tell you.
A couple points. Jordan Greenway is like a grown man now. Get out of his way if he's coming downhill. Alex Tuck, that hurts a lot. This team is super frustrating to watch when they're playing like how they played in the second period for 20 minutes. And the question I have for you guys is I was just wondering if you think we'll have some consistency next game. I don't know if we'll win it, but just consistency throughout is what I'd love to see. More like a game 1, game 2 type of vibe. So
I'm totally with you. And here's what I can't figure out for the life of me. Why aren't we seeing that?
Yep.
Like what switch gets flipped? And I give the Golden Knights credit, but like what changes there? You had one shot on goal. Like I don't get it. And to me, games 1 and 2, and look, they had a bad first period in game 1, but overall I really liked that game. In game 2 I loved. I'll tell you this. I have a hard time believing that we'll see what you, I, and Declan want in game 6 when we haven't seen it in 3 games.
Yep.
Like there's just some weird dynamic here. And I don't know. I mean, it's on the players too, but I mean, it's partially coaching as well. Because you have to be able to, at some point in time, adjust to what they're doing. And it's like in the period, they couldn't do it. Slow them down.
Yeah, something. Yeah, that neutral game, the neutral zone got shredded and obliterated the whole second period. It was really hard to watch. And anytime we got some stuff out of the zone, we iced it 6 times, 7 times in that period, or we just had sloppy passing. So it was tough to watch, but happy to get the victory somehow in Minnesota fashion, So.
Heck yeah.
You'll take it, man.
Seriously,
take it.
We'll take it.
Thanks, Max.
Hey,
Great
Max,
stuff.
thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate
Talk to you next show.
Yeah, it's very, very good points. Jordan Greenway tonight, Judd. You saw him. He hit the pipe too earlier. This is it's puzzling, and I think I'll be honest. I think you're a little harder on him than I am, and I understand that. I think he's had a really, really nice season. He's took a nice step forward, but at the same time, where I agree with you is when he wants to apply himself, he is a damn good. He's a top 3 player on this team. I truly think if he wants to apply himself and put his 100% work ethic, and he hits it, he's right behind Fiala. In terms of just skill and when he actually wants to roll, I think he's right behind Fiala. I really do.
Ideally, he's Tuck, right?
Sure, yeah, ideally.
Like he's not going to be as good as Tuck,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's got the big man. He's a big guy. He's got some skill. That third goal was a great goal because I mean he followed the play. My God, that's fantastic to see. I don't feel like I'm tough on him. I feel like a sports dad. I'm trying to get the most from him. Like there's so much more to give consistently than what Jordan gives, and we see it like tonight, and that's what you want. It's not too much to ask for him to play like that, at least during the playoffs, every single game.
Yep.
Just like with Kaprizov, Dex.
Right.
Like Kaprizov tonight did what I wanted.
Yes.
Nice shot for a goal, but more importantly, I saw him. He was doing things. He was moving. I mean, the playoffs are sure fun to watch, but I'm sure as a player, there's a certain feeling about them that they suck because, like, you're always getting hit. Time and space is gone, right? So, like, okay, but you're paid partially to, especially if you're Kaprizov, to be great in the playoffs. And tonight, I felt he had a really, for the most part, I mean, the second period, the whole team didn't play well, but the first and third periods, I felt like I saw him more. I didn't feel like it was, and who else played tonight again? And this is where Kaprizov needs to be because I really do give this guy a ton of credit, and I think both of us have this entire playoff. I love some of Fiala's play tonight. Again, he's just all over, and I know he's frustrated, but he's using the frustration almost creatively now.
Yep.
And he got the puck. He skated with it at times. He's trying to do things, and that's all I can ask, right?
Yes.
Just the one thing I'm asking is when I'm watching a game, don't make me forget about you.
Yep.
That's
what I love about his game. Look, I know he can make a dumb penalty or make a turnover, but he cares, and that's and especially in a sport where it's and I understand why this is it. I'm not trying to rip the sport, but it's all, and I see the commercial for it. They play it every playoff game. We. I love sometimes a little I attitude. Because sometimes a team needs a little bit of I attitude. And I know there ain't no I in team and there ain't no we either. So I don't need to hear that we have to be always we. I love that Fiala shows up every night, and you're going to notice him.
Yes, and by the way, you want your star players to have some I.
Yeah.
That's hockey.
Yep.
I like the dirty little secret of the sport is I, because it's I contraction and better than you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's 97. That's 22. There's not a lot of those guys.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you completely. But Kevin again and I did some things that I really liked, and that's what Kaprizov sort of needs to take a page from.
Totally.
Which is yes, I'm frustrated. Yes, I'm good, and teams are trying to take things away from me, but I don't care, and I'm going to try and go through people, which is basically what you have to do. And we know for a fact Kaprizov is strong enough to do exactly that.
Let's keep rolling here on Wild Vent Line. We're burning the almost 1 a.m. oil here, but we're still hanging out with you guys. We'll kind of let you guys still dictate this. Let's go to Josh. Josh, what's up, dude? How you doing? You're on Wild Vent Line.
Hey guys.
What's up?
Big fan. I've got a million things I could say about this game. First of all, I'd love to see Boldy in the lineup, but at the same time, I mean, these guys played with each other for the entire season. Like, they lived and died with each other. And, I don't know how comfortable I feel with, bringing in a dude who's practiced maybe a handful of times, even in, full team lineups, and then bringing him for, a big playoff game. And so, that's kind of tough to edge him out over a Parise or Bukestad, when Johansson gets out and stuff like that.
Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely tougher to enter a game in this situation, and maybe I don't want to get too far ahead that if they somehow pull off the upset, they do win in 7 over Vegas, that maybe you do. I mean, if you go into Colorado with guys like Bukestad and Rao and Parise in your everyday lineup, you're going to get waxed. You're 100% going to get waxed. And you may as well throw in Boldy in that situation to at least give you a punter's chance. I mean, Colorado, I thought St. Louis would actually give them a little bit more fits. I didn't think that that Colorado would lose that series by any means, but I was pretty surprised they still beat them in 4. But when they played to their potential, they obviously should probably be the favorites to win the whole damn thing. But I hear you. The chemistry is something there, but when you're like watching in that second period when Vegas is just dominating you, and you have nothing to show for it, and you have no speed to counter, I think a guy like Boldy does make a difference. It's a tough spot for him to be in, but I do think he would make a difference.
Yeah, 100%. And then another quick thing is, I remember hearing you guys a few weeks ago talk about maybe not protecting one of our goalies, or I'm not 100% sure on how all the protection works, especially like for all the players coming in the expansion draft, but especially with like kind of the decline of Dumba, and we've known what Rask is all year. Do you think that kind of plays into if we want to protect more goalies, or like keep Kakinen and Talbot around for longer? Yeah.
I think the protection rule is you can only protect one. So I think you could protect Talbot or Kakinen. And I had been on record for much of the season saying that I would protect Capo because he's the type of guy an expansion team would take. My guess is they'll protect Talbot, but there's going to be a lot of goaltenders out there. Like it's going to be an attractive lot. So I don't know that the Wild will lose one. But back to your point about Boldy, here's the one thing that I would keep in mind too. Dean sort of, because I get your point about Zach, okay? Like not playing Zach and playing Boldy would be a political hot potato probably in that room. But where the rules of engagement sort of went out the window here was actually when they played Rao over Bukestad. Because if you'll scratch Bukestad and play Rao, you can damn well play Matthew Boldy. So like I get what you're saying, and hockey wise, what you're saying makes perfect sense to me. But if you're going to play Kyle Rao, who is God bless him, journeyman minor leaguer, then why is playing Boldy and scratching Bukestad a big deal?
Oh, 100%.
So
yeah,
that would be my question, because I think the Parise point's a good one. Like if you scratch Parise, which I might be tempted to do, but I get the dynamics in the room that might cause some problems.
Right. And especially if we're just throwing in guys right now as they're hurt, like give the guy a chance to see what he can do, especially, at this point.
Exactly.
But yeah. And I mean, in the second period tonight, I thought like, I don't think I'm so proud of Talbot because I don't think there's another goalie like out there who could only let up one goal with that absolute onslaught of a period. It was very, very impressive. So
absolutely, Josh. Thank you. Great stuff.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you. Well, Judd, here's the conundrum. So first and second year players are exempt from the expansion draft, which would mean Capo is technically exempt. Now, you can protect Cam Talbot, and if Capo is exempt, the only thing I'm trying to figure out is, do you have to put a goalie in the exposing part of it? Like, do you have to expose a goalie? I don't think you do. You have to?
Look at the rule. Yeah, it's you can protect X amount of forwards and defensemen or skaters, but I believe it has to be one goaltender has to be included.
Skaters,
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So a goaltender has to be included. So I saw something a couple weeks ago that somebody, and this was just a analysis piece, was theorizing the Kraken might take many as 4 goaltenders just to stockpile them and then trade a couple of them. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if they protect Cam, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going through here. Let's now go to Tyler. Tyler, what's up, dude? You are on a Wild Vent Line.
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? Are you the one that called from Hawaii a few games ago?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sitting on my couch trying to finish watching this Winnipeg.
Third overtime, right?
Edmonton game going into third overtime. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm wishing the Wild could skate and pass like they are, especially in that second period, because it's kind of impressive this overtime game. But what's going on with Dumba? What is in his head right now? I don't know. He can't pass. He's afraid to take a hit. He's afraid to make a check. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I'm going to give you my theory here, and he did make at least one series of plays in the third period that weren't a disaster. But my theory is this: if Brodin struggles at all, which he did tonight, and Brodin has struggled more of late than I've ever seen him struggle before, I think Dumba is in huge trouble. Because Dumba seems to shrink in the moment of great pressure, which is where Brodin excels. Like, Brodin ordinarily is such a steady skater, right? Like, he's such a steady player. So my theory is that if Brodin has any problems at all, Dumba's in big trouble. And it seemed to be that way tonight again. Unfortunately, here the trade-off is this. If Matthew Dumba can create offense, it's like, okay, it's not ideal, but he creates offense. And the Wild blue line really doesn't create a ton of offense. If he doesn't create a lot of offense, it's sort of like, what's the point? Because he's not creating offense, and he's often making a key mistake or flipping the puck over the glass without, for a penalty or something that drives you crazy.
Yeah, I almost threw my remote at the TV, honestly, when he flipped the puck over the glass, and then he was in the corner, and some guy was coming up to check him. I don't know who it was, and he passed it right to one of the opposing guys, and I don't know, I had my remote in my hand and almost busted my big screen TV here.
It's crazy.
But,
yeah, it's frustrating.
That second period was the most frustrating hockey I've watched all year.
Oh, totally, dude.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. But I like your guys' analysis on if they play Boldy or not coming up here. I really want to see him, but I wouldn't put him in over some of the veterans, just given that dynamic, unless, I don't know. I just don't know. I like what you guys were saying on that, though.
The most important question when it comes to him is, can he make you better right now? I mean, that's the only thing that they should be focused on. And I think that with his skill set, and unless there's something wrong that we don't know about, and they certainly haven't told us if there is, I think with what he brings to the table, it would be worth seeing. Because there's a lot of guys in that bottom six playing right now, and some do have to play, to what you're saying about veterans. But I'll go back to what I said before. If you're going to scratch Nick Bukestad and play Kyle Rau, you could scratch Nick Bukestad and play Matthew Boldy, and I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, Kyle Rau is a little journeyman. That's what he is. So that surprises me.
Do you think that will? Because the only thing is he's young, and I know he's a bigger guy, but I don't think he has that much weight on him as of now. Do you think the only reason they're playing Bukestad is because we're kind of a smaller team and we need that bigger guy? But Rau's smaller, isn't he?
Yeah, Rau's
tiny. Rau's big as I am.
I don't know what's going.
That's what made no sense.
I don't know what's going through Dean's head on that one then. But thanks, y'all. It's
hey, Tyler.
awesome watching you guys after every game.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for supporting us, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I guess I can see Bukestad sliding in. I can also I see a situation where he can fit into this lineup. I don't really understand how he wouldn't. So you could probably, if anything, I would put Boldy in. I'm looking at the line chart that was submitted earlier this morning from Sarah McClellan of the Star Tribune, and I would probably I would put Sturm up with Fiala. I put Bonino on his left, and I would just put Bonino, Bukestad, Parise on the fourth line. And I think that'd be a fine fourth line, by the way. I think that'd be great.
They're not. I can tell you right now, game 6, they're not changing a thing.
God. And to his point about Dumba, yeah, I mean, you and I came on the show on Saturday after the game, and I think I'm just out. And with Kalen Addison, by the way, like, all things considered, if you trade Matt Dumba, Kalen Addison just slides in and replaces Matt Dumba. That is ifso de facto. Yeah, like it would be a plug and play switch right then and there. Yep. And he'd be ready to play. Look, he was a first round pick. Bill Guerin knows him well. That was a great trade for Minnesota. They got a first round pick. They got Addison. I know Galchenyuk didn't necessarily work out here either, but still, like, that was a very, very good trade.
He's playing a lot in Toronto now.
Yeah.
It's the damnedest thing. He started the year with the Senators, and they traded him to Toronto, and he's now, like, playing all the time there. I don't get that one. I still don't like him. I still was glad that was a brief stay here. But the Dumba thing I'm still done with. I'm done. And I mean, I've been behind him for a long time. I love what he potentially brought, but again tonight, I mean, the pressure came down, and that was, I believe it was Brodin who turned the puck over. So the Wild was trying to break out, should have. Brodin, I think it was, lost the puck, And then that's how it ended up behind the net with Dumba, who was just frantically trying to clear it and accidentally sent the puck out of play over the glass. But I just can't take the mistakes at key moments. I can't do it. Like, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup or make a playoff run, that can't be part of your DNA. And I mean, it seems like it's part of his fabric. Like, there's always something, and it just absolutely can kill you.
And there definitely is going to be maybe a moment still, and it could happen in Game 6, where he's going to score a big-time playoff goal for you. That can still 100% happen, and I can see it happening. And he has that ability.
I'd still like to see him shoot more. I'd still like to see him shoot more, and I would actually like to see him get the puck out of the zone himself. He's got enough speed to. Like on the play that he flipped the puck out, he saw the forecheck coming and sort of panicked. But, I mean, that's the type of thing where I'd like to see him attempt to at least cut up ice along the boards and get out of there.
Yep.
Like, that's what they needed to do. In the second period, they needed to, because they've got the ability to do it, they needed to possess the puck and get the puck out and get the puck in. But it's almost like they stick to the principles of what they believe to be the best idea. And when they backfire, they have no, like, plan B for, oh, my gosh, this isn't working now. What else can we do? And it was like Dean was shouting at him to try and tell him, but it clearly in that period didn't work.
Let's keep rolling on here on Wild Vent Line. By the way, we're now almost at 1 a.m. here. We still got a good amount of people in the room. A couple other invites are still being sent out. This is Wild Vent Line. Judd Zolgad, Declan Goff. We're from Score North. We have Mackie and Judd. We have Purple Daily. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel if you can. We're also on Apple, Spotify, and ScoreNorth.com. You can find Judd's written work. Judd has an EPA. He's on a second one already. I'm on a couple things at Tequila here. Can't get too crazy. I still got some post-production work here, but you don't care about that. We're here about your wild vents. You don't care about me. As much as I love to talk about myself, I won't go anything.
They don't give it. Don't care. They don't care.
Let's bring on friend of the show, Cooper. Cooper, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. First of all, shout out to you two for going live at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate all the work you put in.
I think if Judd wanted to, Judd would sleep like 4.5 hours a day if he could, and just work the other 20. I think he really would. Maybe I'm speaking for him, but I think he would.
Sure,
I like my sleep, but there are times that you have to play a full day. See, that's the difference between me and the Wild. I don't take the second period off, Cooper.
Yeah, Judd, time for some positivity around here. Although that second period could be the worst period I'll watch in my entire life, the only statistic that matters right now is the score, all right? And it's a rare double win in Minnesota sports with the Twins coming all the way back for that division soon, and the Wild going on to win Game 6 and 7. It's a good night. We got to savor this feeling because come Wednesday, it could come crashing down. And these double wins for Minnesota sports have become more rare than the blue moon. So how you guys doing? Excited for Game 6?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, man.
I just want to see a complete game again. Like we saw it in Game 2. I want to see a complete game. I want to see them, and they might lose, but that's fine if you lose giving your best shot for the entire game. This series has confused me beyond belief because there have been periods where the Wild does not look like they belong on the same ice. Like, they look awful. And there have been periods where they look damn good. I will take what we got in the third period tonight for an entire game.
All right, yeah. And then I guess just
That's fair?
Yeah. Just to leave you here, aside from Cam, if you had to hand out a gold star to anyone else in that second period, who would it be?
Oh. Who had the least amount of icings against them? I think like
fair point. Yeah,
I saw a statistic like 5 Golden Knights players in the second period alone outshot the entire Wild team. Like 5 of them outshot the entire team.
Yeah, I was watching with some friends, and Alex Tuck, he's the most noticeable player on the ice, which is just hilarious. His name is said every 5 seconds by the announcers. He's taking shots all day long. You love to see it.
But shot on goal, Cooper. One shot on goal.
They got the win, boys. They got the win.
No, you're right. And you know what? It's more fun. But I'm just saying. But it's frustrating because, like, there's more to give here.
Right.
There's more to give here, and I want to see it consistently. So,
I agree.
They did get the win, and the Twins fell down by a run and came back and scored 7 or something like that. So they won big.
9.5 back. Here we come.
Are the Twins back, Cooper? Are the Twins back?
Yes, they're coming all the way back.
Cooper.
All the way back.
Sports Dad is going to tell you right now, stop. Don't do this to yourself, Cooper. I was your age once. I tried this. Don't do this to yourself. temper the expectations so the disappointment won't be as great. There's no girl who will break your heart like Minnesota sports.
I can actually vouch for that as well. That is true.
All right, boys.
Very
Thanks
true.
for
Cooper, thanks for
on.
coming on, man.
You're
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's they are. No, I'm knocking on 30. Unfortunately, I know I don't look like it. I know I look like I'm 17. I'm like, oh, that guy's drinking. What's your age? Cluck, cluck, cluck. Yeah, I'm 28. So,
Look at you with a chip on your shoulder.
and if you want to clap back at me for drinking, let's have a drink and let's talk about it. And yes, Benjamin, I will be cutting my hair this week. In fact, if we make it to a game 7, there'll be a fresh new do because I believe I get cut on Thursday between days. So I purposely got a haircut because I knew the Wild would win Game 6 and force a Game 7, so I could be all spiffy on a Friday night, ready for Vent Line for the Game 7 win.
You're going to pay far too much for that haircut.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But yes, no, I don't need to play. You get what you pay for. Get what you pay. I saw so many people complaining about their cable services tonight. They couldn't find CNBC, or the Twins game was blocking Bally Sports North, so it was on Bally Sports North Plus. My Chromebook has been working great for the last 2 months.
Hold on.
Get what you pay for, people.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people. They were trying to figure out where the Wild game was on.
If you have Xfinity, 863 is Fox Sport or Bally Sports North. 963 is Bally Sports North Plus. It's that easy.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Other people don't know that, and for whatever reason, I plug and play. Okay,
let me say something right now that's very important. If you don't know where Bally Sports Plus is, you need a better relationship with your remote and your cable.
Yeah,
see, that's the thing is I've got my relationship with my cable, my remote is outstanding. We're very close. So I know where everything is because that's important.
Sure.
Don't be caught off guard here.
No, I had the Vegas feed on. I think, and by the way, the Vegas feed I think is my favorite television feed.
So quickly,
in the world.
Tell me about the Parise thing between periods.
Yeah, Gary Lawless, who I think he does some writing for The Athletic. I'm not
he's their information guy, but I think he works for the Golden Knights.
Yeah, he does work for the Golden Knights. He is there, in my opinion, the equivalent of Jim Pete. He is there. He tells it like it is. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. It is great. Gary Law, Vegas Golden Knights insider, color on radio, digital columnist. He comes on during the second intermission. So I made it a mission. I tried to watch all the opposing broadcasts, during the season because I have my ways of watching the game since I can't watch the game with cable and YouTube TV and streaming. So I watch them in other ways. I won't get into how I watch them in those ways.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
That being said, Gary Lawless was asked about his relationship. The play-by-play guy asked him about Dean Evison and Zach Parise's relationships, and he cut him off immediately. He goes, "Well, there is no relationship. That relationship is over." And this is someone too who's a national guy who doesn't work for the team or the Wild, that is, and is saying those things. And he's plugged in as it gets, man. Like, this is someone who understands it, and I just appreciate a television broadcast that literally isn't sugarcoating anything and isn't afraid to call them out. I watched games this regular season when the Wild did outplay Vegas, because as we know, they dominated them in the regular season, where they came on and they said Vegas was embarrassing tonight and it was a complete joke and they need to be better this, and that. If the Wild lose 8-0 on the local broadcast, it's, well, just forget about it. Oh, well, this person had a good game. It's remarkable to hear competent and just normal, unbiased opinions. And you can, by the way, last thing on this before I continue to go on this soapbox, you can be a team employee and criticize. Watch a Timberwolves basketball game. You can be a team employee and criticize the team. That can exist. That absolutely can exist. And then me being the radio guy, I can all-encompassing rip everyone. That's kind of what I like to do. So, sorry. That's what I wanted to do.
That was impressive. All right. Keep going.
We'll keep going. Let's go to Josh in Oregon. Josh isn't in Oregon, so he only gets, I think, opposing broadcast. Josh, what's going on, dude?
Well, I watched the national stuff, but I had the NHL TV, so I watched the local homers most of the week, most of the season. Anyways, I wanted to hop on here. I had a feeling the Wild would win this game. I texted a few buddies beforehand, and I said, look, they're going to win Game 5 and lose Game 6. And going into this series, we thought, oh, this team's different, blah, blah, blah. It's got a real 2019 Twins vibe, if you ask me. And that just went out the window in Game 3. This same old Wild. So why would we expect anything different? I go back to 2016, Game 6. They go down 4-rip. Almost come back, can't get it done. Next year, Game 5 against St. Louis, I think they were down similar amount. Furious rallies, come back and lose in overtime. I'm expecting the same thing in Game 6. But I will say this. If they find a way to win Game 6, they'll win the series because the pressure is going to mount on Vegas. They've never closed that at home. They just blew a 3-1 series 2 years ago. Yep. And the Wild are 3-0 on the road Game 7. So we'll see what happens. I'm fully expecting a Game 6 loss, though.
I think you're right. Josh, I think you nailed how this is going to go perfectly, but you're right. So the pressure should be shifting, right? Like the Golden Knights should start to feel the pressure now, and they were, to their credit, clearly throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the Wild to try to come back tonight and win that game. But I'm with you. I think the Wild. So I think the Wild should feel the pressure going to the Golden Knights for Game 6. But I think because it's going to be at the X, they'll actually have that pressure. That being said, you just hit it. If they win Game 6 somehow, I think they go in and play the Golden Knights there again and beat them because the pressure will be on the Golden Knights. And the Wild plays really well there. A lot of times. They didn't in the second period tonight, but they do at times. So I think your scenario is absolutely correct.
Well, here's what I would have liked to have seen and why that second period was especially disappointing. Fleury has a penchant. He'll play well, but he could have a blow-up game, right? And so if you had at least put a little more pressure on him, maybe got, 25, 30 shots rather than 12, yes. I could see a repeat of what they did in 2003 when they came back against Vancouver, and it was like a 7-2 onslaught. Yes. And then Vegas is in even a worse position because what do they do in Game 7? Do they go to Leonard? They haven't played the entire series, or do they go to Fleury? So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm not getting my hopes up, but we'll see what happens.
What disappointed me tonight in the second period, especially to your point about Fleury, was that he had started to give up some rebounds. He looked, for him, shaky. And it's like, okay, then come out in the second period and at least generate shots and rebounds and drive the net and continue to expose that. And they didn't come close. Yeah. So that was frustrating to watch because I felt like he was a little bit on the ropes after that first period. And instead of being able to sort of continue to go after him and see if he did have what, as you referred to, a blow-up game, they got one shot on goal. So exactly. Disappointing to see that. Great stuff, man. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Josh. Yeah, I think he has a good point. If they win Game 6, they're going to win this series. They're going to win the whole damn thing. I really do think so. Win the series. Win the series. I said a whole damn thing, as in maybe it means they could go and win the cup.
They'll win the series. If they get back to Vegas for Game 7, I think they win the series. Unfortunately for them, with how they're wired, I think they're going to feel a tremendous amount of pressure in Game 6, which would be ideal for them not to.
Oh, man. This just came in. Jets won. Triple overtime. The Oilers have been swept by the Winnipeg Jets.
So here's my guess. I think Dave Tippett might get fired as coach.
Oh, yeah. He's gone.
This is a disaster for a lot of parties, including the league itself. The Jets are a really solid team, and I like the Jets. But Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are now gone. And Connor McDavid continuing to be gone, if you're this league, is a huge deal. Like he is the best player in the world. And to not have him pass the first round and to have him out after 4 games, if you're the league's PR wing, that ain't good, Declan. But yeah, I think Tippett's gone. I'll be very curious to see what they do because the Edmonton Oilers have no excuses now. And they are, unfortunately for them, their secondary scoring is almost non-existent.
Yep.
It is. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to change things. I wonder if your guy's going to be back then because I will say this, he's a good player. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, really good. But if he comes back, it's going to be very expensive and you're going to be able to do less with the rest of your roster.
Yeah. Get him here. Get him here. I told you on Saturday, if they got him,
it's a good idea.
It's a season ticket. I could be a season ticket holder. I might get a season ticket holder, and I can't get his jersey.
If you bought a Wild season ticket, my guess is you'd be filing Chapter 11 a couple weeks after that.
I might be. Had a good year at Score North. You don't know. And by next
You're making
month,
6 figures to get season tickets.
I can do a 10-game package. Okay, I can do a smaller game
Well,
package. It's a smaller.
You said season
that's still
ticket.
season tickets. You can still do season tickets for a small package. I don't mean 40. I'm not going to 41 games. That is just psycho. I don't know what other people who do all that.
Wait. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is your man crush, and now you're bailing?
I might. If he's on the line with Fiala, I guess. If I don't know if my heart can take it. I don't even know if my heart could take watching those two on the ice. That might even be a whole thing. So.
Do we have some more people in queue?
Yeah, we do. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel, what's up, man? You're a wild
Ezekiel.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning.
Good morning.
And it is a very good morning. I'm going to do a little bit of a stick tap here for Cam Talbot. Absolutely deserves it. That the defense and forwards should be buying him breakfast, if at not least making it for him tomorrow morning. They should be babysitting for him and the wife. Because they deserve it. Yes, the Sherwood hockey stick.
Oh, Sherwood. I love the Sherwood.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Yep. In fact, keep
I'll
going.
give you a minute. I'll give you a minute.
I think he has one.
I have some for you.
Declan, I do have a Thomas Vanek here for the old core.
Thank you. You know what? I know he was a disappointment, and Judd's probably now running back to the screen, but very misunderstood tenure at Thomas Vanek here. Very misunderstood.
All I got to do is tweet one picture to some people at the fan or whatnot, and they go crazy, so.
That's right. Yeah, no, it was very misunderstood. He has a Thomas Vanek jersey also on, Judd.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Vanek jersey.
Love it. I mean, I don't love it, but I love it.
I don't like it either. A nice goalie stick.
There you go.
Gilles Malache, broken goalie stick. The
Sherwood goalie, very, very good.
Old school, baby.
One of the better goaltenders in the league at that time, too.
Absolutely.
He stole the North Stars more than their share of games.
Played in the he and Beaupre backstopped him in the 81 Stanley Cup Finals loss against the Islanders, but it was a lot of fun. What's on your mind, man?
Just Cam Talbot. Matthew Dumba pulled a game one by tossing the puck out of the ice onto the stands. Like, at this point, you got to scratch him. You just got to. But who are you going to put in there?
And they're not going to. He's not
exactly. And Matthew Boldy needs to be on this power play. The future, yes, we will see it, but we need to see that next game going forward, I believe.
I'm with you, but we're not going to.
I know.
There's been no. In fact, I believe the whole crew of Black Aces did not travel. I think Boldy was not there. He's back here still.
Just Callan.
Yeah. So they're not going to play. I mean, I'm convinced of that now. They're just not going to. I don't know exactly what their reasons are. They won't explain them. If they had never, if they had never scratched Bukestad and they had played Parise in place of Johansson in Game 4, I would be like, okay, I sort of get what they're thinking at least. But when I'll go back to when you play Rao and scratch Bukestad and then bring Bukestad back, I'm thoroughly confused as to what the thought process is there, unless there's something wrong with Boldy that they are not divulging.
And then one other note before I let you all go for the morning. I do have a doctor's appointment coming up here very soon. So, you know what? I can't even remember. It's been a very long morning.
It's been a long night.
Wait. The Wild Ultimate Tease, this year's version, is the ultimate tease. They give you this brief flavor of what it could be, this brief little look at what it could be, and then we get the second period of tonight's game where Cam Talbot stands on his head.
Right.
Absolutely.
You guys have a very good morning. Stick taps all around.
Very nice.
Ezekiel, thank you very, very much. Let's see here. Actually, a little bit of semi-breaking news. The start time for Game 6 between the Vegas Golden Knights and Minnesota Wild is set for 8 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, okay. That's
8
better.
8 p.m. Central Time on NBCSN and Sportsnet in Canada. So Game 6 between the Knights and the Wild back here in St. Paul set for 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time on Wednesday.
So
from
probably
NHLPR.
8:10 to 8:15, but that still beats 8:35 to 8:45.
Can we just also can we just put what is the actual? Is there a 3-minute window? Like, when like baseball says 7:10, sometimes it's 7:11 or 7:12 or even like 7:09.
Sure.
Like, what the hell? Can you not just say like the beauty of the NFL? If you say 12 p.m. kick, that ball is in the air at 12:01 at the very latest.
I think they try and delay the games a little bit if they possibly can for if there's an early game, which often, of course, Declan goes into OT.
Sure.
I think they try and delay it. Like, they don't delay it in perpetuity, but they delay it for a bit. I think that's why.
Okay.
It is annoying. Drop the puck. I'm with you totally.
A reasonable time for Wednesday, not 9:30. The things I got to do today before even a puck drop, I got to do grocery shopping. I watched some wrestling. I got a nap in. I got a car wash. I did even a Target pickup run.
Again, the fans don't care.
Yeah, no, they care.
You're running through your day.
Right.
I keep going.
It's 1:15 in the morning. We got 4 more guests left here on Wild Vent Line. Let's go to Jake in his North Stars jersey. Jake, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Jake, great threads.
Little muted here. Not too much, boys. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Excellent.
Doing well. A few things. There's one thing I want to talk about, but then there's other things that have come up that I just want to touch on. First of all, Judd, your take on Parise's play, I think it was spot on. His decline has been no fault of his own. He's going to bust his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It's even at his prime, he was never the Patrick Kane, the Crosby, the Ovechkin. He was a grinder. He just outworked everybody, and that's why he was good. And that's a young man's game. I think the injuries have built up, and it's just he can't play that way anymore successfully. Yep. Other thing, Declan, you're looking to get some season tickets. My dad's got a package, lost a partner. I'm sure if you want to buy some tickets off him.
Okay.
He's got 2 in the lower level right behind the penalty box and 4 up in the club.
Oh, wow.
On the rail.
That's expensive.
That plays. I don't know. Yeah, my bank account might disagree, but if R&H is coming over, I'm all in. If R&H is here, I'm all in.
4 in the club on the rail, right by the bathroom. I mean, in and out.
Oh, I love
good.
that.
Yep,
love
exactly.
that. Love that.
The other thing, the Boldy talk, I'd love to see him, but is he? From what I've read, he's not even practicing with the team, is he?
He didn't even travel.
Yeah, so you can't. How do you throw a guy into a game if he's not even playing?
They're not going to.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. As well, I'd love to see it, but it's just not going to happen.
Agreed.
I don't think. What was the other thing? So the main thing I was thinking was, I mean, every analyst I hear talk says, the Wild, they look slow through the neutral zone. They can't get anything going. I agree, but the one thing I'm noticing, and maybe I'm just seeing it from myself, but it seems like Vegas is clogging up the neutral zone with pre-lockout hockey tactics, clutching and grabbing, slowing it down, which is supposed to be illegal now, and I feel like it's just not getting called. And the way with the Wild play today, especially in the third, they did a little more clutching and grabbing and slowing the game down, and it didn't get called. Is that just what they have to do? Do they have to start playing that way and hope they don't get called for it?
Yes, that's exactly what I would do, because depth-wise, the Golden Knights are faster than your team is. So, yes, I would do exactly that. I would clutch and grab. I would try and bump guys as much as possible, so it wouldn't be, I wouldn't be holding or hooking. Right. But in the second period, that's what I thought that they would start to do. I mean, you've got to slow that down, and they did. Yeah. And the problem is it snowballs itself, and so it was as if the Wild started to stand around and watch them, and that's where Talbot, thank God, he played for their sake so well. But yes, I would employ more of a neutral zone tactic of trying to slow them, because what you need to do is slow them down, get them to preferably in neutral, turn the puck over, and then go back at them. Because if you could find a chart of possession time, how much possession time do you think that the Wild had tonight in the second period in the Golden Knights zone?
Oh, it felt 5-1.
Yeah, it felt like almost 0. Yeah, I mean, you've got to find a way to combat that, and it was better in the third period. But I mean, you could have given up without great goaltending easily 5 goals in that period, and if you do, you're cooked. You're just done. So.
I don't think the Zamboni even cleaned off the Vegas side of the ice after the second period. I think they just did the half, and that was it.
But I think what you're saying is dead on. I think if Vegas starts to employ what they did in the second period in Game 6, you have to start to find ways to slow them down, interfere with them, hopefully don't get called. But I think you're right. I think the officials, deep in their hearts for playoffs, do not want to call that.
Yeah.
So I think you have more. I think you have more leeway unless you're doing something egregious, which
right?
I'm not suggesting.
Yep, and even like I noticed it so many times today, the Wild would finally get possession in their own zone. They try to break through, and even just to do a dump and chase, the guy that dumped it, he had the Vegas guy just again slowing him down, a little chip here and there, and now he's going to lose the battle on the boards, and Vegas gets the puck back, and they come right back the other way. And it's like I said, that's pre-lockout hockey, which is supposed to be written out of the rules. It's not getting called, but if it's not getting called, then let's play that game then. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So. Great stuff, man. Thank you,
Jake. Thanks for coming on, man.
Jake.
Yep,
appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I do like that. I mean, there was an obvious trip late in the third period that they just ignored.
Yeah,
they just ignored. They let them play, and that's where again, you know, the refs aren't working against your favorite team, you buffoons.
The referees, the Golden Knights had some complaints, and in fact, I think the power plays were 2-0 for the Golden Knights tonight. I think that they had the Golden Knights went 1 for 2 on the power play. The Wild did not have a power play, but I actually felt that the Golden Knights probably had more complaints. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Nobody's working against anybody here. Like there's no conspiracy to get a game 6. That's all a bunch of BS. But I think what we just talked about would be my default position in a period like the second, which is you've got to find a way to, 1, slow them down, and 2, get the puck from them and turn it and transition. The Wild literally in the second period had, Declan, no transition game.
Yep. 0. Yeah, the transition game's been brutal for them. It's been a really bad.
I mean, and you've got to have an option to have some type of way to transition. And it can't be icing, especially now that if you do ice the puck, you have to keep the same players on the ice.
Yep.
Like it's not like a break and you could change the 3 forwards and the 2 defensemen. They're stuck out there. So you've got to find a way to transition that's not just trying to ice the puck to get guys off the ice.
I hear you. Let's keep rolling here. Just a few more calls left here on Wild Vent Line. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us. We got over 400 people hanging out with us right now on our YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you can and help us out. It helps us out a ton at Score North. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, what's up, man? You're on Wild Vent Line. How are you, dude?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great.
Doing well, man.
Hey, just to extend on Judd's point with the icings, not only do you have to keep the same line on, the offensive team gets to pick what side of the ice that the draw is on. So they're always going to put it on the strong side. So they're going to have an advantage there.
Absolutely.
So Judd had made a bunch of points today about how Dumba's play has kind of been built into his DNA. And I'm wondering if a bit of that second period is kind of built into the Wild's DNA. And I know there's been a lot of turnover with the players, that they've never been a team that has extended on these great starts and blown teams out. They've always kind of gotten leads and played defense and tried to hold those leads. And I wonder if some of that is still in this team's DNA, that they try to play defense.
I think you're right, and I hate that. And I really like the changes. The fact that they brought in guys like Cole, Bonino, I like that. But yes, I feel like what you just said is right. There is still some of this whole mentality, but what I don't understand is how do you not, like, I get it, okay? Second period. Let's say you come out and play poorly, which they did. How do you not turn that around until you go in for the third period? Like, how do you not have the ability from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, to be like, okay, this isn't good. We need to adjust some things here. I'm not saying wholesale changes. I am saying it's been really bizarre to me that in the second and third period in game 3, pretty much the entire game in game 4, and then the second period tonight in game 5, they look like a different team at times.
Yeah.
And I guess that it just confuses me because they belong on the same ice with the Golden Knights when they're playing like they did, especially in the first period, but also the third period. In the second period and here at the X, which is really weird, there were times where they looked like they were should have been done in 4 games. And I don't get that. I don't get that, and I don't get if that's more mentality that has to change eventually here. That Guerin's going to have to, continue to turn things over when a guy like Zach is gone and potentially down the road Suter is gone. But yeah, it is really a confounding thing to watch them have the ebbs and flows and highs and lows that they have, because I like them. I like where they're going, and I guess it's why I personally think that if you brought Boldy in and he improved the team and brought some speed, I know they're not going to play him, but I just don't see the downside to at least experimenting with that.
Right. And it's especially frustrating as a Wild fan to see a bunch of other teams in the playoffs bring up guys. I mean, Spencer Knight had 36 saves today for Florida to beat Tampa, and Montreal in a tied series brought in Caulfield. And I mean, even bringing in Addison, he doesn't have a ton of playoff experience. I was talking with a friend tonight that it's frustrating, as you brought up continuously tonight, that putting in Rao just made no sense, that why you wouldn't play a person like Boldy. And I haven't seen the minute breakdown, but Boldy's had so much experience, be it in NCAA or in World Juniors, that he's played in this playoff type atmosphere. And I know the NHL playoffs is just that next step up, and he's continued to succeed everywhere he's been. And it's not like you need to bring Boldy in to come in and play 18 minutes. You can bring him in, and if it's not going well early, play him the 8 minutes that you played Kyle Rao. But if it's going good, you can just continue to give them more minutes. And I think that Fiala and Kaprizov can only benefit by having more skill around them. And I mean, the Kaprizov goal tonight was a perfect example that when Zuccarello puts pressure on somebody and opens up Kaprizov, he can finish. And I think that's been so much of their problem with the Kaprizov line with Zuccarello, is Zuccarello has become so passive in moments in this series that he gets the puck and he's looking to pass it back to Kaprizov, and then Kaprizov gets it and he's got two men on him. Like, I have to pass it too.
And what drove me crazy was in Game 4 when Kaprizov picked off a pass in the slot from a Golden Knights player, and Kaprizov was on his right wing along the boards, and Kaprizov picks off the pass, and there's a guy coming at him, but he's in the slot with the puck, right? And he passes it to Zuccarello, who shoots from the boards. What are you doing? You're Kirill Kaprizov. Find a way to get that shot off. And if it gets saved, it gets saved. I don't care. But you just made a pass that was a low percentage pass, and Matt's got a shot off, and it was nice, but it was from the boards. So that's where I need these guys to get what they are supposed to do. But what you said is, to me, the most important thing, which is you need 22 and 97 need a center that can make plays for them, not who is defensively responsible. Yeah. I don't, Victor Esk made some plays in the defensive zone. Well, he can do that in the fourth line, right? I need guys that can set those guys up, because the problem too is, if you're the Golden Knights, for the most part, you've known going into the series that if you focus on Kaprizov on that line, Hartman or Rask isn't good enough to play with those guys. And for the most part, Mats is going to pass. So the predictability of that line outside of Kaprizov was huge. That's a really bad place to start. If I know what you're going to do, my life, pretty simple. If I don't know what you're going to do, now Kaprizov becomes a real pain, because there's different alternatives. So, good point.
One quick final point. With how well Addison played today, do you think they would ever think about putting Addison with Brodin and then moving Dumba to Cole? I mean, I know that's Spurgeon and
no. I love that. I've not thought of that. I love that idea. No, I think there's zero chance.
Because they like the consistency.
Yes.
They've had a tendency to stick with consistency.
What's Dean done, unless absolutely up against it?
Right.
What's Dean done? I love what you're saying. I think it's a great idea potentially, but they seem to be in love with the consistency, and I don't think they've done one thing in this series that surprised me.
Right.
So
yeah,
great stuff, man.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely.
Ryan,
thanks guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Ryan.
Appreciate you. We'll roll through a couple more calls here as we wrap up on Wild Bet
Look
Lines.
at this, 1:30.
It's only 1:30 in the morning, and I just finished. I mean, I could pour a little bit more, but I probably should. We got to be in the studio. I have to be in the studio. You're in the studio tomorrow.
I don't know I'm coming in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm coming in tomorrow. I'm at work right here from the home office.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
good for you. Yeah, no, I won't. I'll be in the work. I'll be in my studio. Yep, I'll be in the studio in 9 hours.
You know what?
8 hours.
I'm cutting myself off at 2.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm proud of you for making that adjustment. Let's go to Nick. Nick, what's up, dude? You're on Wild Bet Line.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I just wanted to start it off. Kirill played well. Greenway played really well, made himself noticeable. First time since like game 1, maybe 2. Foligno, always consistency. Obviously Talbot. Can't say enough about him. Props to Parise, veteran goal, but just he doesn't belong in this thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, that Stone goal. It just seemed like Spurgeon was just caught flat-footed. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Definitely.
Brodeen was awful today. He made a couple mistakes, especially that penalty that led to the power play goal.
That's a weird one. Like, he's ordinarily so steady. And I feel like the past, I don't know, few weeks, and certainly through this series, we've talked about what you just said. Like, think about during the course of the season, how many bad plays has he made? Like, there's very few, and he's ordinarily just so steady. And I do think that's part of the problem with Dumba, is when Brodeen struggles at all, Dumba doesn't have the ability to sort of pick him up, right? Because it's Brodeen is the steady one, and Dumba's the guy that can rush the puck a little bit and certainly shoot. But yeah, I was surprised again, and it feels like for how ordinarily steady and great Brodeen is, and he's not a player that you notice a ton, but he makes a ton of plays, that he has scuffled and struggled a bit more than usual, which is really surprising because I've always perceived his heart rate to be really flat. Like he doesn't get excited, he doesn't get flustered, and it feels like he's gotten flustered a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what, just like with the defense especially, it seems like it's just at least the top 3, Brodeen, Studer, and Spurgeon, they're usually just so steady that when they make a mistake, it's just unnoticeable. And it seems like they made a lot more in this series, the last few games especially.
Agreed. Yep. Agreed.
And then
go ahead.
What that other guy or previous caller was saying, I was going to say, add us into the second for Dumba. Obviously, it won't happen, but if we did, maybe even it would give Dumba a spark, light something under him, prove himself.
I like the thought.
I like the thought too, man. I really do.
It's an intriguing thought, and I wonder if it wouldn't also give Brodeen a little bit of a spark.
Yeah.
Like, if you took Dumba away from Brodeen, I think Brodeen would get the hint as well. That's a really, I agree. I don't think they'll do it. I sort of like the idea, though. It would surprise me. And again, I don't think the Wild's done a thing in this series that surprised me. I'd like to see something where, you know what? Well, no, I shouldn't say that. The Rao move shocked me. I didn't like it. I'm talking about a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and that would, I think, like with Boldy, it's just getting the young guys the experience too.
Absolutely.
I don't
know. Yeah, exactly.
As for the second period, I think the Gophers could have played better.
Well, Motzko would have gone nuts. Are you kidding? Bob would have melted down on him.
Yeah.
In the locker room, Bob would have called a bleeping timeout halfway through that period and reamed him.
Heard that.
And then last point, even with how well the Wild have played at home all year, am I wrong to feel that worse about our chances in Game 6 and a potential Game 7? I don't know if that's my 24 years of Minnesota fandom coming into play there. But
no, I think that's a good point, man, because
I agree with you.
I kind of agree too. Like if they force Game 7, I love their chances. And Vegas just hasn't been able to close out series before. And now that we're riding this little high that they were, even though they basically squeaked by, right? They squeaked by with a win. Yeah, you can't play like this and win again. Like basically, you can't replicate that same success and win again. There's zero chance it happens. And I shouldn't say zero, but a very close chance, zero chance it happens. So, yeah, I feel. I know it's easy to say, yeah, Game 6 is a must-win because they have to win it. But yeah, I like their chances more in a Game 7 than it is going into Wednesday's game.
Yeah. All right.
I agree,
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
hey, Nick. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, that is a hilarious point to look at. And look, I know everyone's probably trying to say, like, well, yeah, they're down and they're through their backs against the wall. But if they force Game 7, I truly think it's over. I truly think they'll go to Vegas and they'll win.
I think the problem is they are going to. I think if they got to a Game 7, they wouldn't feel the pressure, and the Golden Knights would for sure. I think the problem is that they should now. I mean, they stole a game here. Like they just stole a game. Talbot was fantastic. I think they should come back feeling at ease. I think they'll feel pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about playing here now, which is weird because, during the course of the season, they played great here. Now, part of that was before zero fans, so it's not like it was a home ice advantage with a lot of screaming fans. But yeah, if they can somehow steal Game 6 here, I'm with you. I think they'll win Game 7. I am very dubious about the fact that they will steal Game 6.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man.
And to be clear, too, you can't expect Talbot to do on Wednesday what he did tonight.
I agree.
Like, I mean, that's a huge ask. That is an enormous ask. So at some point in time here, it's incumbent on you to play a complete game, which they haven't done probably since Game 2, and also to find ways to generate offense and goals. And it's fun they won. I'm glad there's a Game 6. My personal dilemma here is I don't know how to feel about it.
Right. I hear you. Let's wrap it up here, Joe. We got one more caller here. We may as well wrap it up with a loyal listener and a loyal supporter. I know you would. And yeah, especially if you're working from home, you can just be working from your bed. I can't do that. I have to make sure there's
my bed. I'm in the home office right now.
I'm glad. You got a sleeping bag. You and Stella will cuddle up. I'm sure you'll be great. You'll be
the bedroom's right over there. So
well, that's nice. Good for you.
Right over there.
Nice little walk. Mine's through that door. I don't need to show anyone that. Let's wrap with Alex. Alex in Texas.
That's our guy, Alex.
Our buddy.
Hey guys.
Wrap us up here, man. Welcome to Wild Event Live.
What up?
I work from home too, so I don't really have to go anywhere.
Very nice.
I think Dumba's playing himself into a Seattle Kraken jersey.
Who is that? Dumba?
Dumba.
Yeah, I think he's playing himself into a Seattle Kraken jersey right now.
He's either doing that or they're going to find a way to trade him before then. But yeah, I don't think he's back now.
Yeah, because I always wanted to protect him because I've always liked him, but
I agree.
He's
totally with you.
He's shown what he is. You think he's going to get better, but he just doesn't. It's also nice to have a goaltender to you can, if the team's not failing, to save you. We even had that in Minnesota in I don't know how long. Probably since Rolo, which is saying a lot. I missed the first period. I was out doing family things, and from what I hear, it was a great period. What I don't understand is the Wild know how to beat the Knights. They are the Knights' kryptonite, so I don't understand why they just took Games 3 and 4 off.
Yeah,
they literally took the last 2 games off.
Or the second period tonight.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
And it was nice to see Parise get a goal, but they've got to upgrade. And I was thinking, Guerin is Chuck Fletcher did give us Kaprizov, so I'm happy for that. But I just wonder how the expansion draft would have went if Guerin was a GM as opposed to Fletcher. Like, would Tuck still be on the Wild? Or
my guess is yes. I think Bill Guerin would have looked. I mean, Bill Guerin was a guy who was a captain of teams, played forward. I think he would have looked at Tuck and seen the ability there. The problem is, if you go back to that time, was that the Wild was in love with Charlie Coyle still, and so they thought Charlie Coyle was going to be that guy.
Never understood it.
Well, and he doesn't have the. And I mean, he doesn't have the talent, and he's not a bad player,
Right.
but he doesn't have the talent that Tuck does. But he certainly doesn't have the big man mentality that Tuck does. Like
Right.
Tuck is what there are elements of Tuck's game that I would sit Greenway down this summer and say, watch this. This is what you can be, at least partially.
Yeah.
But Coyle, yeah. So they thought Coyle, in fact, to Dex's point, they might have made that trade. So they got the Golden Knights to take Hala, and then they traded them Tuck. That might have been partially based on Coyle as well, to protect Coyle.
Yeah.
Like, because I think if you had exposed Coyle, the Golden Knights take him. And I'm going to tell you right now, think about if you had Alex Tuck on your roster and Charlie Coyle was a Golden Knight or had been traded, you would take that trade off in.
Oh yeah, they would have given up on Coyle. They seem unfortunately, even though we talked about last time I was on here, how much of a joke I think it is that Vegas is good. You still can't take away the fact that even though, yes, they're better than what they should be because they're an expansion team, but they are a very well run organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to be good for a long time, which we can't say about the Wild, because the Minnesota Wild are the typical pull the seat from underneath you when you think they're going to do something good. Like they won game 1, all right, they know how to beat the Knights. It's going to happen. Game 2, okay, game 2 was crazy situation. Game 3 and 4, it's like, okay, they're done. And then like going into tonight's game, I went out with my family because you know what, they're probably not going to play very well. They're probably not going to win this game as much as I love the Wild. And then I come home and they're up 3-0. It was 3-1 when I came home. It's like, and then I'm looking at the shots. It's like 30 shots to like 7. I'm like, well, obviously, Marc-Andre is not playing well. If we only got 3 goals on 8 shots, and then I'm watching him step back. I'm like, it's so right. It's like we get that big lead, and the Wild just we're gonna fall back and play defense. When was the last time the Penguins got a 3-0 lead, or the Capitals with Ovechkin got a 3-0 lead and said, okay, we're just going to sit back? No, they attack. You know what? I don't know why we just sit back.
You know what? In the second period, I don't think they even sat back on purpose, though. I think the game got taken to them so badly they didn't have an answer, didn't know what to do, and basically started watching. Yeah. So like it wasn't even like at least personally, I didn't think it was. I didn't even see prevent defense. I just saw a team that was literally running around like their hair was on fire, and their goaltender saved their ass. That's what I saw. Because I know what you're talking about, but that would have meant that you were trying to trap them in the neutral zone, right, and slow them down. They didn't even do that. The third period was more indicative of trying to hold the lead. The second period was like there was no plan. It was bizarre. I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I can't figure it out.
At worst comes to worst, just keep attacking. I mean, you have a 3-0 lead.
Yes.
And
you get the goaltender on the ropes. To your point, for the first time in the series, the Flower was on the ropes. He's giving up rebounds. He's not looking great. Now that's the time to keep coming at them, and instead you just get. And I'm sorry, the Golden Knights are not that much better than you are. Like, oh no, they're better, but they're not that much better. That's a ridiculous.
But not the Knights.
Oh yeah. Let's not talk about the Avs.
And then the thing about the Winnipeg and Edmonton series, real quick. Winnipeg is probably the last Canadian team that the NHL wants to do well.
Yes. I would agree. Yes.
Compared to Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, I mean, maybe Ottawa, but
the two teams from the North Division that they did not, and really, I'm sure felt they couldn't afford to lose in the first round were the Oilers and Maple Leafs, and Toronto beat Montreal tonight, so they took a 2-1 lead, and they should win that series. And Toronto's the most important team, but Connor McDavid is the second most important team.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the entire Edmonton club. I mean Connor McDavid.
And hopefully, Capri Sun, as the nice people like to call him, is going to be that one day. So
absolutely. Thanks, Alex.
I'm glad you got a goal tonight. Like I said, it's been a pleasure as always, guys, and look forward to talking to you all again.
Alex, thanks, man.
Appreciate
you coming on.
Thank you very much.
Wow. It is almost 2 a.m. We've had a dozen or so Wild fans come
It's
on.
a dozen. That's very good,
know,
Declan.
people like to call Score
12.
North clickbait, and you guys don't know anything. And have you checked your ratings
they don't
lately?
say we don't know anything. They do say that about the ratings, and we are, and they do consider us to be clickbait because I think there's not a real understanding of what clickbait is.
Yeah.
But this was fun for all the people who tuned in, who participated. We appreciate you. You're part of the Score North family. You get us, and that's all that's important. Just remember, all that's important, Declan Goff, is that the family understands us. Just the family. I mean, if you don't like us, that's okay too. That's cool. But and there's, you know what? The good thing about this town, if you want an option that's more pro team, it ain't hard to find it. So, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'll be your Tom. I'll be your Tom Hagen here. I'm the Tom Hagen if you're gonna go with the family and the Godfather. I would like to be the concierge. I would like to be the Tom Hagen.
Just remember, if you don't like us, you can like somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be back post game. We'll do a preview.
We'll do a preview episode
on Wednesday, and then we'll back post game.
And we will also break this down tomorrow on the Mackie and Judd podcast as well, which you can find right here on our YouTube channel and on Apple, Spotify, Score North. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We've had a good amount of people here. It's almost 2 Seriously, guys, thank you so much. Even my Turbo Snark aside, awesome crowd here that we still have. It's almost 2 a.m. and Judd cracked open one last EPA. Good lord.
No, it's the same one.
Just the 2.
I stopped at 2. I'm not going
to say.
More than 2.
I won't reach for it. I had it. I didn't want to grab it, but I had the bottle of tequila that I was gonna do a little extra. My Casamigos here, George Clooney's tequila, by the way.
Don't tell Dawn.
It's a good one.
Don't tell Dawn. She's a big Clooney fan.
Go wake up Dawn. You tell her that right now, just from her favorite sports son, Declan Goff, that Casamigos tequila. All right, that's it. This has been Judd's Hockey Show. It's been Eventline. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and supporting. Hit the subscribe button. Apple, Spotify, ScoreNorth.com, and Pass, Shoot, Score.